Welcome to Missing the Point on the 617 podcast, brought to you by Crowworthy. I am Michael Marcangelo, joined alongside by Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan. And today we are all smiles, sunshines, and rainbows talking about the eloquent football game that we witnessed between the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. The final score of that game, in case you live under a rock or drank yourself into a fucking oblivion, was 20-7 in favor of the Miami Dolphins. This was everything that I have been saying for the last 4 weeks that I hope that it was not. We'll get to that. But before we go too far down the rabbit hole, Ray, how are you and how do you feel about our New England Patriots?
So I've lost hope right away. I have no, and this is not always making a hot take. Like, I saw nothing Sunday that encouraged me for week 2, and we'll get into that as we move on through the show. I have nothing right now. Like, there's no expectations. Like, I was extremely pissed. I was surprised with how optimistic you were Sunday, and we'll get into that too. But I was really surprised by that. Especially when they did nothing to make you be optimistic. And they later on proved, but I just saw it early on. I'm like, it's just over. But I personally, the man, Rayshawn, I'm great. But I am, as a fan, I am not pleased with what I saw Sunday. Because I feel like there's more of it to come.
Yeah, I feel like this was one of the most important opening week matchups of Bill Belichick's career. And oh boy, did he not disappoint with giving us content. Because when you put Matt Patricia and Joe Judge in charge of your number 15th overall pick, second year quarterback who is known for being able to think think quickly on the fly, adapt. He has a very, very high football IQ. And you say, you know what? We're just going to run the same 4 plays 11 times out of the first 22, regardless of what the defense gives you. This is what you get. So let's start positive, because I think that's the only place that we can start. Their opening, I think, was one of their first couple of drives that ended it that resulted in the pick that he threw to at Devontae Parker in the end zone. That was their best drive of the game, the best drive. They could move at will until that. The touchdown drive, that was more Miami fucking up than it was the Patriots doing well. But
Yeah.
let's just talk. I mean, I'm really trying, believe it or not, to censor myself and to be as down the middle as I can. So, Ray, what was your bright spot from this black hole of BS on Sunday?
Playoffs. Bright spot. Are you kidding me? I mean, listen, honestly, well, you felt differently about the 15 play drive. You said it. To me, that's the one they scored on. So I'm like, yes, I know that they had the pass interference, which was blatant. Like, for the fact that people was like, oh, that wasn't a penalty. Like, are you dumb? Like, it definitely was a penalty. Like, get out of here. Like, relax. But no, the 15 play drive that went almost 8 minutes. Like, to me, I was like, well, this is where they have to. It was a lot. It was super methodical, obviously, and you rather them have more of a quick strike on offense at times. But I thought that was their best drive, and obviously the bright spot. He's the guy that scored, but now he's on IR, and Ty Montgomery. So I'm just like, of course, the guy that had a decent moment. The guy that's supposed to be a James White replacement is now going to be on the sideline just like James White. So, listen, we what could have went wrong for New England on Sunday did go wrong, and we have now become an action of waiting to happen, which is wild. But that's just what it is.
Yeah. So listen, I think any drive that you score a touchdown, you score points on, that's a good drive. The reason why I think personally that was more of Miami shooting itself in the foot is they were so poorly in place in that drive. So much so that Ty Montgomery was able to catch a pass in the flat and fucking roll into the end zone because Xavier Howard was supposed to be playing a short zone and got himself into playing man for no reason. Right. That's more of again, you scored points. You can only play who you're playing on the field. I get all of that. But I thought that the defense, much to my surprise, was pretty good. They weren't great. They weren't awful. When you think about the fact that they only allowed 13 points, if I were to tell you that in any week of the year that's not 2022, that the New England Patriots are only going to allow 13 points, you would probably say to me, they're going to win.
Right. No, and that's true. I mean, but once again, I said this on, during training camp. I know you guys talked about the Buchanan region as well. Like, the defense has been ahead of the offense all training camp. So it wasn't a complete shock the defense showed up outside of the play that they wanted to play crash test dummies and run into each other when Jalen Waddle, really literally ran right past them, for that touchdown. Because that was the game. Like, we can break down some other stuff, but that was the game. It was what?
4th and 7.
And they went
for it.
Yeah, and I was like, but once again, it's the same thing with what happened last year with Buffalo and some other teams last year. They no longer respect what New England's going to do. That's the takeaway. So fans, as you listen to this, as you lament and hate and be upset like how we're upset, no team respects New England anymore. They're saying, fuck it, we're going to do whatever we want to do because they know that New England's not going to be able to punch back.
Right.
That's if there's any takeaway from that, it shouldn't be that they didn't have a run game. It shouldn't be that your first round pick got fucking benched, early in the game. Like, even though they said he had the highest PFF round, I don't care about that. I don't care about no damn because he was seen on 13 snaps. Okay, and he did. It's like it's a glaring need. There's so many glaring needs on this team, and obviously Coach Ray didn't help change any of that on Sunday. And yes, it's unfair. I get it. It's one game, but it is what it is. But like I said, to me, the real takeaway, the key takeaway is that teams will do whatever against us because they know if they give one solid blow to us, we're going to fold like a cheap tent.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened.
I've been saying over the course of, I think, like the last month, ever since we really ramped up our Patriots coverage, that the goal of this season, but more importantly, the goal of the first 6 weeks is to not get Mac Jones killed.
Yep.
You couldn't even make it a game without that happening. I mean, that, first of all, that strip sack that ended up being a touchdown, I want to say, as a quarterback in the NFL, you'd see that coming. He took 4.5 steps and someone was in his face on his blind side. And then what do? That Miami, who notoriously, I think last season pressured on 24% of all of their defensive plays, they actually were only blitzed on 10% of their plays on Sunday because they were getting through anyway.
Yep.
And then that high-low hit. I mean, you are what you're doing right now, Bill, because you want to say, well, if this doesn't go well, it comes down to me. Honestly, it's not going well. You are mortgaging the future. So that's that. You're defaulting on your mortgage of the future with Mac Jones. When you see that in his first year in the NFL, and we know that the Patriot system before this little high school football, and you know what, that's actually an insult to high school football, this peewee football offensive scheme, we are always told it's a very hard system to understand. You have to have a high intellect. You know what? He did. He threw for almost 4,000 yards. He earned his participation award into the Pro Bowl. He wasn't supposed to be there, but he's a Pro Bowler. Right. And he had a pretty good rookie season. So instead of building on that, what do? You tear the whole thing down. And now you put him in jeopardy. To your point, Ray, they could run the ball. Damian Harris rushed for nine carries, 50 yards. That's not bad. You know what? How about you continue to give him the freaking rock? None of these outside zones, none of that. Let that man do what we know that he can do best, run downhill.
Where was the play action though?
Well
they didn't even run. If you're running the zone offense, where was the play action? Like it was non-existent. It was non-existent. The play action was not there. Like you said, 9 for 50. That's not bad if you're trying to build off that. But I'm like, the play action to the tight end running down the middle, or he has a great rapport with Jacoby Myers. Like, Jacoby Myers, if Jacoby Myers gets open, he's likely going to catch it. Like that. Right. That's what I've noticed about him. Like, I know people feel up and down about him on the show, even in pictures Twitter. But if he's open and his hand is near his radius, it's like he's going to catch. He's going to catch the ball. I mean, and this shit with Kendrick Bourne. I mean, Bill. I mean, Billy, baby. What's going on? This is not okay. Like, this is not the era where you can sit players and have them out because that there's other talent that's going to supersede what's on the sideline. Them days are gone. You haven't. It's over. Like, you can't. Everyone that can play needs to be on the field. Everyone that needs to play needs to be on the field. Period. So the fact that the one play that you put Kendrick Bourne in, it was a beautiful pass from Mac Jones. Down, beautiful pass.
There was,
and I'm just like, yo, where was this all day? Once again, Aguilar non-existent. Other players on the team just non-existent. Like, you have to have all playmakers, and and the fact. You in fucking Matt Patricia's doghouse? Are you fucking serious? That's why you're not on the. That's why you're not on the field because of Matt Patricia. Not because something you did to Bill, because of what you did to Matt. Come on, man. And once again, I get it. As someone who works in education, I understand being on time or being early is on time. I get it, but you're not going to sit here and say to me that Kendrick Bourne doesn't help you win. Once again, make him run extra sprints. Make him do some push-ups instead. Like, that's how you handle that. Give him a $75,000 fine, whatever. Like, or something. What are we doing? We can no longer afford to put guys on the sideline because we think that we're sending a message.
Well, just to that point, even at the height of their powers, when he benched Wes Welker in that 2010 divisional round against the Jets for all his foot jokes, they lost that game. When they benched Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl against the Eagles, they lost that game. So they're on this team for a reason. Their talent is what their talent is. I heard it. I read an article today where somebody said, I think it was Greg Bedard. He said, I have a feeling that it's going to come down to talent being the reason that this team wins, and quite frankly, they don't have enough of it.
Fact.
And that's 1,000% true. And if that's not a knock on the offense, because there are talented individuals on the offense. I think Mac Jones, I think he had a better rookie year than we all could have hoped for.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that we're probably in for a worse sophomore campaign than we all expect. But Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, like, they are ballers. They are talented. Devontae Parker, Jacoby Myers, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith was there finally for the first time since he signed for his $10 million a year check. But Kendrick Bourne, but let's talk about that, because a report came out today that now Robert Kraft has taken notice about how little he was used against Miami, and that we should all expect him to be used more against Pittsburgh this coming week. My opening thought on this is, while I agree that he should be on the field, we have a big problem if the owner is now just determining who should be on the field based off of their pay. Because Jonnu Smith has done nothing to earn himself the right to be on the field on the offense based off of his 22 catches.
You released both of your tight ends that were behind him, so he's got to be on the field.
Right. But I'm saying, like, Kendrick Bourne should be on the field based on the fact that last year he caught 55 balls for 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. And as you just mentioned, for the first time, the only time in this entire game against Miami, it looked like Mac Jones had someone on the field that he could trust and that was open.
Right.
Jacoby Myers will catch a ball that is thrown to him, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to throw that ball into traffic.
Yep.
Kendrick Bourne creates separation. So What is it? Is it the fact that he forgot to wear knee pads in the opening practice against Vegas? Is it that he took a swing at a player, or is it the fact that he knows more about how to run a zone style Shanahan offense than Matt Patricia?
So I think it's the latter. So what you just said, I definitely think they were watching tape and we're gonna do this. And Kenny Brett goes, "Oh, teacher, like I have a suggestion. Why don't we do this here? Implement this. Oh, you don't grandstand me. You don't do X, Y, and Z." It's like, yo, but no, the report was that he was late for a meeting, and obviously we know, from Jonas Gray to some other people, like that is a cardinal sin in this organization. But once again, Jonas Gray isn't Curtis Martin.
Right.
And I get that Kendrick Bourne is not Randy Moss. I get that. But on this team, he needs to be on the field. Period. So I'm tired of Bill making these type of decisions. I'm sorry. And I'm glad that Robert got stepped in. I don't care what his reasoning was. Play the people that are talented. I don't want to see Trey Nixon out there. I don't want to see little Jordan Humphrey out there right now. I don't. And we're not going to see little Jordan Humphrey because he's also got hurt. So I don't want to see those guys on the field. Unless we're up 45-10. That's the way we don't want to see them in the game. So figure that shit out. Like let it go. This is not 1985. And we talked about, I think the story is on, I think the NFL Top 100, right? Where Bill was saying, I guess something with Lawrence Taylor where, hey, Bill, LT was like to me, just thought she wanted to know. And so Bill was like, well, why did you start to me until you got there? Like, when you have talented players, yeah, you give them a little more leeway. Right. It's just that simple. Ream them out if you can ream them out, and then call it a day. Like it's not that deep. It's not that deep.
When your leading receiver has 4 catches for 55 yards and your second leading receiver has 1 catch for 41 yards, I don't know. Maybe you put that other guy in for more than 2 fucking plays.
Yeah.
So these are the storylines that impacted the game. In the game itself, I thought Mac Jones did as good of a job as he possibly can do in this style of an offense on Sunday. He went 21 of 30, 213 yards, a pick, which is a bad pick, and a touchdown, which, as I've already mentioned, is really a bad touchdown. The guy fell and rolled into the end zone. Yeah. But how would you rate his play in the first game of this new world order offense?
Well, let me tell you something, brother. There was nothing too sweet about it. So let's just say, let's just get that out the way right now. And survey says I don't want that offense to keep going forward. So I'll stop there. I go on that with that type of scheme. But he's a C minus. Like it wasn't.
So do you give him that grade based off of his overall performance or based off of what he was dealing with?
Both. I just think he wasn't amazing. I remember he threw for 281 last year against the same team, and won.
Who was the offensive coordinator last year?
Jet Sweep Josh.
That's weird. So he threw for more yards with Jet Sweep Josh as his offensive coordinator than he does with.
I mean, listen, you're not going to back me into a corner and defend Josh McDaniels. Like I'm not going to do it. You're not going to.
No. That's not my intention. I'm going to rally.
But it pisses me off that the fact that I have to say that he looked better under Josh pisses me off because I don't think that highly of McDaniels. So, but I really don't think highly of Matt Patricia or whatever South Park crew they're putting together down there. To call this fucking offense like it's a joke. It's bad, man. It's awful. But yeah, C minus at best. And we'll see what happens come Sunday. But yeah, C minus is probably being generous, honestly.
Let me ask you a question. Before we go into the running backs, the defense, and we talk a little bit about Miami, you, Mr. Ray, Mr. B, have made a conscious effort over the last couple of weeks of saying how much love I have for Miami, and that they're the best team on paper. I just have like such a love affair.
Right.
When I told you a month ago that New England was closer to the Jets,
Yeah,
than they were the Bills, how does this game factor into that? To that, I mean, how does it make you feel? Because what we saw here, by the way, Tua Tagovailoa was not a world beater.
he never is.
He never is. And Tyreek Hill did what we thought he was going to do. Like what was it? 8 catches, 94 yards. Like,
He looked good though. He looked good.
Of course, because he's a great receiver. What is the disparity between these two teams based on what you just saw on Sunday?
Oh, we should give you a fucking parade. Well, it was spun on, unfortunately. And remember, I said it there. Remember, I said it makes me sick that you're going to be probably right about that. And this game did nothing to dispel that note at all. It did nothing to change that narrative. So they're awful. They are terrible. And I could argue that the Jets look better against the Ravens than we looked against the the Dolphins. So yeah, I'm not encouraged at all. But yeah, at this moment, yeah, unless something drastically changes, but I'm talking about drastic with all capital letters. Yeah, this is more of the same that's to come. And once again, it's not dark. It's not. I'm not falling off the cliff. I'm not, on the ledge, as my boy Ricky would say about me. I'm not on the ledge. Well, actually, no, maybe I am on the ledge. I am on the ledge, and I'm ready to fall off at this moment because I just don't see where the wins are going to come at this moment. And once again, Kangaroo was super nice about what games they would win and not win. But I'm like, after what I saw Sunday, I'm like, yo, like, remember, the first 4 games for us used to be an extended preseason.
Oh, I mean, you could,
like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it used to be a scrimmage. Like, it didn't matter who we were facing the first 4 weeks. It was like, all right, week 5 was when Washington would start, and then they would go off.
Right?
Can't guarantee wins anymore. Can't guarantee wins. And and for those that hear this to say, well, you had to guarantee wins against the AFC East every year. Check their records against the rest of the NFL the last 20 years when
Tom Brady.
No, I know, but I'm saying, but they would always say, well, it's only because the AFC East is weak. Everyone got the ass whooping. We were equal opportunists. Everyone got that work the last 20 years. Period. Once again, check the numbers. It's once again not a prediction. It's a spoiler. I'm telling you, everyone got that work. Period. Or the words of Shady McCoy, crazy work. Everyone got crazy work. So it wasn't just the AFC East. Everyone got handled. But now we're the ones getting handled, and it's unfortunate. And I'm depressed on a weekly basis now. we no longer have the dominance that we once, had the last 2 decades. So, it's going to be a slow grind for sure.
Well, as we continue talking about, the week 4 of their 7-week preseason, loss, I think what's really hard to discuss and not and really me not sound like a dick is their defense. I think that their defense was fine. I do not think that it was great.
Right.
I don't even think it was that good. I think it was fine. I think that you had a couple of people like Juwan Bentley, Kyle Duggar, Raekwon McMillan, and I thought
Judon looked good too.
And I thought Matt Judon was really good. They had a couple of plays. But the difference between this Patriot team and all the Patriot team in the past, even in the dog days of 2009 or 2012, when you didn't really have all the studs that you had in the earlier 2000s, and you really you didn't have the high towers or the Chandler Jones that you would have in the teens, you still made. Let me correct myself before I say it. you still did not allow a stupid play to occur.
Right.
So yes, there were strong performances on the defensive front. That's all mitigated, all washed away by 4th and 7 with 18 seconds left in the second quarter, and you let Jalen Waddle score a touchdown right up the middle. I mean, that was like that. It was a less proportional Tim Tebow to
yeah. And rest in peace, but to Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, to Demaryius Thomas against the Steelers.
Yeah,
had more more of an impact on the season. Yeah, it was a playoff game, but just Bill.
Either way, both ended the game.
You preach it. Do your job. And you had people. You had Devin McCourty on that play. Devin McCourty was playing man-to-man on the running back. I thought he was your center fielder. What the hell are you doing?
I don't know what the call was there. I mean, I get that, Chase Edmond and Raheem Mostert are, guys that, I guess maybe they thought they were going to run like that Madden play, the halfback angle play where, they defect out after. Maybe that's what they thought was coming. But once again, it's the shallow cross every time. That shallow cross where, especially now you have on the outside, it's shallow cross routes all the time. They're not running anything extravagant down there. It's okay, shallow cross 10, shallow cross 17, and whoever misses their assignment is who he's going to find. And in the words of Trick Daddy, they're taking it to the house. Like that through MIA, take it to the house. Like that's what fucking happened. Once again, I used to live down there. I'm pretty sure, and I didn't hear it on TV, but I'm pretty sure somebody was playing that or yelling in the crowd, talking about MIA down the like, count of your day, take it to the house. They were like that. I'm positive that was happening, and I'd have been sick to my fucking stomach had I been in the stands. Because I would have wanted to sing it along, but I would have been pissed at the same time. I'd have been like, 305, take it to the house, game over. Take it to the house. You know what I'm saying? So it's wild, but yeah, yeah, you're right. It is the whatever defensive plays they made. Let's say you don't remember any of it because of what happened on that play. And remember, so okay, I'm glad that this came in my mind as we're talking about this. Remember, that used to be New England, that double whammy we would call it, where they would score at the end of the half, whether it was a field goal or a touchdown, and they come right back in the second half and get and make a big play, and it's like, oh damn, game over. Like how many times was the game over about the 5 minutes in the third quarter? You were like, all right, on to next week. Like, and that's exactly what happened. That's what happened. So that everything that we used to do to teams is now happening to us on a magnified level, and there's not too many of us that could take it because we're spoiled as hell. And it's wild. And that's the only thing. That's my only defense is that it's wild.
Before we move on to talking about the previews for week 2 against Pittsburgh, what were your thoughts on Miami? I mean, yeah, Tua 23 of 33, 270 yards, a touchdown. Right, 270. So he
turned into fucking Dan Marino out there on us.
Turned into Mac Jones.
Yeah, right. So 270. And I'm sure that's a personal thing with him too. But they was on the same Alabama team. I'm sure that he wanted to make sure that he did well, which I totally get it because I'd be out here trying to go crazy too. No, listen, I said it to you. I said on paper, the talent is there. I just said I don't want them to do well because of what they did to Flores, but the talent is there. Will they look as good as they looked week 1 most weeks? I don't think so. I still think that the jury is still out on that. But yeah, that was an impressive win. I can't sit here and say that it was anything less than that. Like I'm once again, we're New England Patriots fans, but we're not going to sit here and be. Or I'm not going to say. I mean, I was emotional off screen, but I'm going to come on here and act like I'm going to get this hot take to say, oh, when they weren't that good, and like, no, give credit where credit is due. They gave it to us, and once again, yes, the defense played okay, but they made the plays when it mattered most. Period. So whether it's a 5-yard slant, whether it's a sack, whether it's a strip fumble, like they made the plays necessary. They made Michael McDaniel look really good on Sunday, And I just think that I liked his aggression. I liked that he said, you know what, this is my first game as a head coach, but I believe in these guys. And we saw a lot of that week 1 overall, but
Oh yeah.
but I just think that, he was like, no, let's go for it. And once again, it goes back to what I said earlier in the show. The respect factor. People used to be shook that, man, if I make a mistake, it's gonna be over. And harsh reality, teams ain't fair in Mac Jones. They don't think Mac Jones is not gonna come in there and put up 30 on you right away. Everything is methodical right now with him. It's not something where he's gonna come down there and score on 3 plays for 80 yards.
I would just argue that methodical was the word that you could use to describe the early 2000 Patriots, because it was elaborate, it was different, they would pick you apart. Even what Mac Jones did last year, that was methodical.
Right.
This was redundant.
Right, but the one drive they scored was methodical, is what I'm saying. 15 plays, 92 yards, 8 minutes. So that's what it is. But there's no fear. There's no fear that they're gonna march down the field on you or score late. But it's been like that since Tom left. Even when the year that Cam was here, like, if they wasn't running they was a top 5 rushing attack that year, but it's like if their run game wasn't where it was supposed to be, you're like, okay, this is game over, because we're not afraid of what Cam's going to do. But
Right.
it's a labor for them to score right now. Or since Tom left, it's been a labor to score. Hell, 2019, truth be told, when he in his last season here, it was a labor to score. Which is why they only went 12-4, 11-5, whatever it was. Like,
only 12-4.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I know. So
can't talk about that anymore. We can't talk about that anymore.
I know that's wild, right? They were privileged to go 12-4. Sorry, excuse me. Let me correct myself. Because I would kill for a 12-5 right now.
Right.
I would kill for a 13-4, 15-2, 16-1. But we're very, very long way from that. Like, I'd probably lose 40 or 50 pounds before they get back to that level. Like, I'd be on a diet before they get back to that level of promise. Just saying. Not fat shaming. Not fat shaming. I'm talking about myself. But I'm just saying, I'd probably be on a great diet and lose some weight before they become a team of destiny like that once again.
It can't be fat shaming when you have 2 hefty bags trying to clean up the trash on Sunday, right? Like, that's not like we're
fine. Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. The reason why I say this is redundant, though, is like that scoring drive, that 15-play scoring drive. If you just focus on their first and goal, they run they run a quick little flat to Damian Harris. It was broken up. The next play, they did the exact same thing, but on the opposite side, and he was hit literally the minute that he caught it, because that's what would have happened if it wasn't broken up the first time. Second time, they do another flat play out to Ty Montgomery, and his guy just wasn't there. He had enough time to fall and roll in. One of the reasons why Mac Jones had such a high ceiling coming out of Alabama, especially into this system, is because of his ability to process what the defense is doing.
Right.
And to adapt and to set the offense, to figure out what the matchups are. Like, you saw it on Sunday. He literally went to the line and ran the play that was called, and then ran it again, and then ran it again. Even if it's not working, they've taken what I would argue is one of his biggest assets away from him. And then you look at the former quarterback of the New England Patriots Sunday night. He's at the line. He's checking. He's bringing one of his receivers in, back out to make sure that he has the right coverage out there. He knows what's going to happen based off of what he's setting up. And I don't understand. There's nothing that can be told to me by any member of the New England Patriots that will explain why they have stripped Mac Jones of his intellect on the field. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I mean, especially when you made him the guy, so clearly you saw something in him,
right?
That you chose to say Cam Newton and your services are no longer needed.
Also,
I don't get that.
If this was the plan the entire time to run this remedial offense, my take from a year ago when I said that they should have traded up for Justin Fields holds so much truer now because that man can change a game based on his athleticism. Mac Jones cannot do that. He can change a game based off of his intellect. Justin Fields might be just be as intelligent as Mac Jones on the field. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when shit breaks down, he can get out of the way. Mac Jones cannot.
Yeah, if you need a playground play, Justin Fields can do that. Mac Jones right now can't. Okay, and once again, that's not a
knock.
It's not an out of bounds statement. It's just it's fact. So if anyone says otherwise, shove it. But it's just I don't know, man. Like I too, Mac 10, Mac 10 don't have no he got no clips in that gun. Like there's no clips, there's nothing in the arsenal, something there. It keeps jamming. It's jamming. So whether it's at the goal line, whether it's at the 50-yard line, like it's just they don't have it. And to me, something drastic has to happen even at the coaching level. I listen, people can talk about the players all day, but the coaching matters. And I feel like we're one of the few franchises that really understand that. The team that we're facing on Sunday understands it because they only had 3 head coaches in their lifetime. And in their lifespan, so they get it. It's like you need good coaches, you need people around you that's going to build up the players, from the neck up, coach technique, all that good stuff. So that matters. And right now, they have a bunch of people who are what I would call class clowns, and don't know what they're doing, in their respective roles at this time.
Wholeheartedly agree. We just went through, I think, a couple of the stages of grief, in terms of now we've really identified the fact that, Rick Pitino once said Larry Bird ain't walking through that door. Kevin McHale walking through that door. What we knew for the majority of our lives is gone, right? We saw that. We've been seeing it. It even got worse between 2021 and 2022. Moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are coming off of a wild win, overtime win against the reigning AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what you've seen from the Patriots, I need you to tell me how they stand a chance in this game without mentioning the fact that TJ Watt is out.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I think they're gonna have to go old school Steelers, and they have to run it down the throat. I'm talking 25 to 30 times. So whether it's 10 carries for Damian Harris, 10 carries for Stevenson, 10 carries for somebody else, like I think old school smash on football, control the clock, make it a short field, make it an ugly game. Like that's the only way that they will be in it in the fourth quarter. Once again, Mitch wasn't a world beater last week, regardless of what Dave says. I know that he thinks that it's the Mitchell sauce going on. He wasn't a world beater last week, so we need to pump the brakes on that. But he did do enough, to keep them in the game, last week, but, Najee Harris is the guy. Najee Harris may be out too, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's questionable right now.
He's questionable. So, yeah, so I mean, Najee Harris is playing and, with the receiving core that they have, it's probably going to work in their favor. I think if the game's is at highest field. So, yeah, but running the football, making the short field. And like I said, we have one of the better punters in the game. I just think that, if they use the other facets of the game, I'd say all 3 phases, we got to find a way to make an impact every way. If they do it 2 out of those 3, I think that would be beneficial for them come Sunday.
Well, Trubisky went 21 of 38 for 194 yards and a touchdown last week. So in comparison, Mac Jones had a better week, 21 of 30 for 213 and a touchdown. Now he did throw a pick.
Right.
I think you are right that, the New England Patriots against the Dolphins rushed for a total of 78 yards. Right. They did that on 22 carries.
Right.
Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson made up 17 carries for 73 yards. So, like, just feed that. If you want to split it 15 and 15, if you give Damien Harris 15 carries, there ain't no way he's not at least getting 75 yards.
Right.
Not happening. The guy does not know how to not get back past the line of scrimmage. And
I agree.
how long, without dwelling on the past, but how long do you think in this game will it take them to, let's say, abandon the outside zone scheme and the Shanahan dream that, the little wet dream that Belichick has about being the offense that always beat him, and they just go back to the north-south running? Because Damian Harris, again, he wasn't LaDainian Tomlinson,
right?
But he was a damn good running back last year. Damn good. If you let him go right up the middle, there's a very good chance that he's going to get at least 4 to 5 yards of carry.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, he's a bouldering block. Like he's a rock, and once again, you should cater the offense to people's strengths. Like it shouldn't be something where we're trying to figure out what to do with him. Like this is your fourth for him. Like we know what type of running back he is. North South bruiser type of running back. Like I said, can't get you 100 yards really just like that. So I don't know. To me, I maybe give it the first maybe 2 or 3 drives. Like if they don't see that it's working, maybe they say, you know what, let's just do something different. But they got to figure it out fast. Once again, when you have Pittsburgh this week, you have you have Baltimore, in your home opener. These are 2 back-to-back games that are going to be extremely tough, and you got to find a way to at least look competitive. Once again, if you win, great, but you got to find a way to look at least competitive, and at least make some progress off of what they had in week 1 against Miami.
Also, not for nothing, but last year with that much more intricate offense that you were running, you had 9 home games and you won 4 of them. You were a better road team than you were a home team. So you have to pick up these road. If that's going to hold true, now who the hell knows if it's going to? You don't have the luxury, to your point earlier, to start 0-2.
Right.
You can't.
They didn't have the luxury to go 0-1, honestly.
Right.
Honestly. And I mean, and I know, once again, there's people going to hear this to say, oh, you're being facetious, you're being over the top. Cool, fine, whatever. Once again, we thank you for listening. But they need to find a way. This schedule does not let up throughout the year.
Right. There's a little 4-game.
Yeah, but I'm like, even then, I'm just like, maybe Detroit, okay, and then you guys maybe 3 other after that. So, are you telling me that they fuck around and go 4-13? Like, people be ready to jump off Route 1, like, and then and eat their stars away at Red Robin, which is very. But not expensive. But it's just like it's wild. It's wild.
Here is a preview of the matchup just based off of the week 1 stats. I'm going to end with the one that's most important. Points allowed per game. Both teams, 20. Total yards. New England has 291 total yards on offense. Steelers have 269. Yards allowed. Pittsburgh allowed 471 yards of offense with Cincinnati. New England allowed 335. Patriots only scored 7 points.
Right.
And it took a blown coverage. So knowing that our goal is to be a beacon of light for those that are listening and or watching on our YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe, hit that like button. What is your prediction for this game in Pittsburgh on Sunday?
So I got Pittsburgh winning. I do. I'm not going to sit here and be like I said. I was all going home last week. Me and Joe did the show, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna win 24-17. I was fucking dumb. I was an idiot. Like I'm not making that mistake again. If they win, great, fine, prove me wrong. But I'm gonna go Pittsburgh 23, New England 17.
I think that's generous. The over-under for this game is 40. I think it's 40 and a half. It's actually right now New England is the consensus at -1.5, which in reality, because it's in Pittsburgh, home team usually gets 3. We talked about this last week.
Right.
I mean, Vegas thinks that New England should be favored by 3.5, 4 points.
That's a joke. I'm sorry. Whatever Vegas is smoking on, whatever, that's a joke. There's no way you saw what happened on Sunday and you thought, damn, you know what? They favored to win Sunday. On the road in Pittsburgh? What? Come on. Once again, and I made the joke about this, so Steelers fans that know me, you know that you have not beaten New England when it matters most. And that's what this is in the playoffs. So regular season fine. Yeah, you had your little Halloween win, but at the end of the day, just came home to Gillette. The 2017 play where Gronkowski goes bananas on y'all in the fourth quarter. Like I can go through a whole sort the Troy Brown return and one thing. Like we can have a whole show on it alone.
The 98 game,
this iteration, huh?
The 98 game when Bledsoe had 2 pins in his thumb.
Yeah,
beat their ass.
So just you name it. So it don't matter if it was Cordell Stewart, Charlie Batch, Tommy Maddox. We figured it out. Big Ben, whoever. It don't matter. We figured it out. So, but they gonna get it done on Sunday though. They gonna get it done on Sunday. Once again, I want to be proven wrong. This is not something where I'm not hedging a bet. I'm not hedging. Oh, they may do this, but this will happen. No, I firmly believe that Pittsburgh is going to win this game. Once again, Mike Tomlin he just finds a way. And last week was proof of that. Yes, it was an insane way to get a win. But a win is a win, and the words of our David is just win, baby. Like that is exactly what they found a way to do. And if Micah Fitzpatrick did what he did against Joe Burrow, what you think you're gonna do? Like, what you think you're gonna do against Matt? Like,
not to diminish your point. I think what we saw on Sunday between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati was more of what team was willing to throw it away quicker, and it happened to be the Bengals. Because in reality, if I were to tell you again, 5 turnovers,
right?
You forced 5 turnovers, and you took that game to overtime. That isn't you doing whatever it takes to win. That's just you not doing whatever it takes to lose.
Well, they had
which is the same. Which is
they had it.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. I think Mike Tomlin. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think this is his best quarterback situation that he's had in the last 3 years. Now take that for what you want. I think Mitch is better than the ghost of the assailant, Ben Roethlisberger. I think even if they bring in the rookie, that he could do a better job. He has more options. Najee Harris is a problem.
Right.
Is a problem. The big problem, though, is still, in my opinion, this is going to be another week where Pittsburgh will go up against a team that will do more to lose the game than they will. I think that New England will handcuff their quarterback again. I think Kendrick Ward might be more of a factor. My final prediction of this game is 27-17 Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, and that's valid. And honestly, your prediction is probably more, more on spot on par than me. My other thing I want to get on there. Trent Brown, hold your fucking blocks. David Andrews, don't clip people. And I get it. You want to protect them. I feel I'd rather you get a 15-yard penalty than Mac Jones get laid out. I feel you, but hold your assignment. Like you said, do your job. So, it needs to happen. I know that who they brought back last week. They brought back Marcus Cannon. I was just like, so you let go of Shaq Mason to bring back Marcus Cannon? What are you doing, though?
Cheap though.
Yeah, but it's like damn, like it's just like once again that is Mac Jones is the investment. Period. It's not Kendrick Bourne. It's not Nelson Aguilar. It's not Whoever they brought, it's not John. It's not any of those guys. It ain't Duggar, none of it. Matt Jones, if your quarterback is upright and can do his thing, then you have a shot every week to win a game, which is why they went on that crazy run last year, because Mac Jones caught fire. So you would think, oh, damn, you know what? He's the kid. He's the key to what we got going forward. Let's see what we can do around him. But of course not. In typical Bill Belichick fashion, it's my way or the highway. I want to be the reason why we win or lose. So now here we are. But now, Bill, you're no longer really the reason why we win, but you're damn sure the reason why we continue to lose. And once again, for those that want to defend him, once again, welcome you to comment on our Twitter page, at MTB_pod. That would be in the show notes. But it's just like I have nothing. I have nothing left when it comes to Bill. I'm about this close to saying I'm out on him. And listen, we me and Joe went back and forth about that last year. Joe definitely, wants at least the GM Bill to be gone. But I just think we're getting closer to that time where, we see a guy like Pete Carroll who seems to still be very vibrant and involved and into it at 70, where Bill just looks like it went like, like the plane has departed. So it may be tight. You have nothing. He has nothing left to prove.
Right. Pete Carroll made Geno Smith look like a really competent NFL quarterback.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Same age, a little bit older than Bill. The last that I'll say before we wrap up is, Bill, what I will ask of you is to do now what you told us that you did 21 years ago, right around this day, and do what is best for the team. That is TEAM, team, and let your quarterback go to the line and make a decision that is best for that offense, and not just run a play that your big bearded bitch clown of an offensive coordinator had to call. Let him do his job so that we can be a little less stressed out when we do ours. So for Hollywood Ray, I am Michael Marcangelo saying thank you so much for listening to Missing the Point on the 617 podcast, brought to you by Crowworthy, and we will talk to you next week.